In the last couple videos, we've been trying to deal with what's going on in East Palestine, Ohio with the train derailment and everything that's happened since that day. And so I asked the people who are there or know people who are there or in the surrounding areas if you would kind of tell us what's going on the ground, since we're not going to get it from fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. Some of you responded, and that's what we're going to cover in this video. Stay tuned. I want to thank Noble Gold for sponsoring today's video. Most Americans don't own sound money. Sound money is defined by the Constitution as gold and silver. It's been accepted as sound money for over 5,000 years. And even though it's been artificially suppressed by the international banking cartel, it was the best performing investment class for 2022. In that year, the S&P was down 20%, the Dow was down 10%, and Bitcoin was down over 65%. Gold and silver outperformed them all. Open a gold or silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments this month and get this quarter-ounce American Gold Eagle for free with every qualified IRA of $50K or more. With thousands of 5-star reviews, there's a lot of happy people who are glad they went with Noble Gold. Check them out with my link in the description and in the pinned comment. Now back to today's video. Okay, in the last couple of videos, we've been trying to cover what's been going on in East Palestine, Ohio since the train derailment and the intentional burning of the cars with vinyl chloride, among other chemicals, apparently. Now, I asked some of you in the area and the surrounding areas to let me know what you see, and you guys responded, so that's what this video is about. Vanessa says, I live an hour and a half away from East Palestine, Ohio, and as someone who takes precautions and tries to avoid poison as much as possible, I pay attention to my body and listen to its cues. Anyway, I've had headaches off and on since last Friday and woke up Saturday morning with a sore throat that has continued to come and go, along with the burning feeling in my nose. Not to mention my 10-year-old daughter, who hasn't had breathing treatments in months, if not a year, asked me to take her to the doctor on Wednesday because she's having trouble breathing. My 12-year-old daughter, who's in perfect health, was playing outside yesterday and came inside complaining of being dizzy. I didn't think anything of these incidents until just now. This is the first I've heard of it, but I definitely noticed a change Sunday at church. Everyone seems to be in a fog, and at the store today, I noticed people were acting confused and aggressive. I've been feeling agitated since Saturday, which is unusual. So this raises some serious questions on what the short and long-term effects will be on people and animals that are directly and indirectly affected by this. For example, how will this affect egg production? What can we expect to happen from the offspring of cattle and other livestock? What kind of immediate and long-term effects will this have on fertility and pregnancy in human beings? What will happen with cancer rates in this area? Will the soil be affected, which will affect next year's crops? Not to mention the contamination to the ground and surface water. Too Many Glocks writes, I live in central Ohio and I'm scared about what this will do to the animals. I don't want to even let my cats go outside now. They like to drink water from the stream out back. I love to hunt and fish, and I love the outdoors, so I'm worried about what this will do to the environment in Ohio and the surrounding areas. And that's a good point too. Deer eat the vegetation that's available to them. Will they start getting sick and dying off? Will their meat become contaminated? Jay Cortez says, I live in Toledo, Ohio. I didn't know that the cloud was a 200-mile radius and reached us. I'm honestly scared and wasn't even aware of this until a few days ago. I pray my kids don't get cancer or any other diseases from this. Kimberly wrote, so I grew up in Lisbon, Ohio. That's about 12 miles away from East Palestine, and in terms of time, about 20 minutes away. I now live in Salem, Ohio with my husband and 2 sons. First off, let's just be clear. This train had a wheel that was on fire and was on fire going all the way through Salem, which is, again, 18 miles away from where the train derailed, give or take. There's pictures throughout Salem of this train on fire, which means this train also went through Lithuania on fire and Columbiana. We know it was on fire for a very long time, at least through Salem. Who knows how long it was on fire before it made it to Salem? Now, call me crazy, but why in all that time did the conductor not stop the train before it derailed? And Kimberly is absolutely right. This footage right here was captured by a security camera at an equipment plant in Salem, Ohio, about 20 miles before it went off the rails in East Palestine. This footage was taken around 8:12 p.m. and the derailment happened 20 miles later at 8:55 p.m. So you're telling me that for at least 45 minutes and possibly more, this train was sparking and on fire and nobody called to let anybody know? The conductors who are on board were unaware of what was going on? I just want to ask, are there any seasoned conductors out there who've got years of experience who can give us any information on if this could have been detected by the guys running the engine? I understand trains can be long and this could be a long way from the engine house or whatever you call it, but it seems like somehow in 45 minutes you would know that your train was on fire. And again, this video is just from Salem. How long had it been sparking? How long was it on fire? For all we know, it could have been 30 minutes prior to this. Kimberly continues, we personally haven't been affected by the burn off, but we also don't know long-term effects from the chemicals they burned. We know that when they did the burn, they released a nerve gas that was used in World War I against enemies. We personally kept our kids inside last week for the burn, but I'm not naive to think that we are in the clear with any of this. Yes, the creeks and rivers are most definitely contaminated, and there's livestock that died from this. Was this all a plan? Or was it really an accident? Again, I may sound crazy, but the way the world is going, one has to wonder. Creation and Evolution wrote, the river valley had a gray mist the day after the controlled burn. Little Beaver Creek feeds into the Ohio River, where a lot of other water plants draw water from. The nearest in East Liverpool, Ohio, is claiming water is safe, but downstream is advising no drink warnings. The air in the valley is already toxic as is due to industry. Specifically, S.H. Bell at the border, where it was proven to the EPA and to the DOJ, dozens have toxic levels of manganese and other things such as arsenic and lead poisoning. They signed a consent decree self-monitoring prior to seeing the blood tests, and the ex-mayor was told by lead toxicologists at the EPA that the results were put in a safe place. By the way, this is the same EPA whose safety team accidentally released contaminated water from a mine into the Animas River in southwest Colorado back in 2015. The spill, which sent heavy metals, arsenic, and other contaminants into a waterway that flows into the San Juan National Forest, occurred in August of that year. The EPA initially said 1 million gallons of wastewater had been released, but it turns out it was at least 3 times that amount, maybe even more. Here's the Animas River before the EPA spill and after the EPA spill. Before, after. Kind of like before the controlled burn in East Palestine, Ohio, and after the controlled burn. Remember, they're from the government and they're only here to help. There's no problem that you or I have that's so great that the addition of government can't make it exponentially worse. Creation and Evolution continues. A waste incinerator pollutes the air, a coal ash dump site leaking into the river and local wells since the 1970s. All bonuses living in this couple-mile radius. The largest green space in the area, and industry is destroying it. They're there to protect profit, not people. The U.S. is a branch business, folks. And Darren says, alert, Brian, they aren't done burning off chemicals. There will be more. I have info from a source that there are still approximately 7 to 8 more train cars worth of chemicals that they're going to explode and burn off. They're soliciting the help of 50 different fire departments, and one happens to be where I am, thankfully west of the location, but still in Ohio and still within the radius. Also, what link are you viewing the wind speeds? That would be VentuSky, and that link can be found on my website. Ron says, I live about 30 minutes from here, but work 15 to 20 minutes away. On Monday, after the crash around 11 a.m., I started noticing an itch under my armpits. By 6 p.m. that day, I was covered in a skin rash from my chest, arms, and groin area that lasted for 3 days only after steroid intervention and prescription cream. I am keeping a record of everything because I'm certain it was caused by the derailment. Theodore says, moved from central Ohio to Tulsa and have a sister and her family near there. She and both the kids already have respiratory issues. I tried and failed to get them to come down here to Oklahoma for a few weeks at least. No go. Then her neighbor's horses died and her husband's horses died overnight. Nephew said his lungs felt like popcorn, and now they're coming down here to Tulsa for a bit. Now, guys, if you live in this area or in the immediate surrounding area or areas that might be affected and you guys see things that aren't being reported on the news, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a pinned comment under this video. And just so that I can find the comments easier instead of going through, 500 comments to find yours, just put your comment as a reply under the pinned video. If you know what's going on the ground, if you've seen the dead fish and the dead frogs in the water, if you've experienced dead livestock or vegetation dying or something going on with the groundwater. So leave your comments because I will read them. And if I think it's going to make a video that's going to help inform people, I'll definitely make a separate video, because this is an environmental disaster, and it's not just happening today, and it's not just happening in East Palestine, Ohio. It's going to happen in a lot of places, especially if it is in fact this vinyl chloride and the fallout from the acid rain, the hydrochloric acid in the atmosphere or whatever. If it finds its way into the Ohio River and then it seeps down into the Mississippi River and groundwater supplies and then livestock and then agriculture. So please leave your comments, because I want to stay on this as well as I can with the channel that I got, and inform people, because like I said, fake stream media is not going to inform us what's going on. Key bono, who benefits and why are they staying silent about it? If you guys want to support this channel, grab a hard-hitting conversation starting design from the store. You can put on any shirt, hoodie, mug, cell phone case, whatever. Visit me on my backup channels, Grease Monkey Videos, and Here's the Deal, which is my police accountability channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.